So I got cut off from my first part, but continuing on my last point, this Microsoft Sway is a great way to teach lessons both in and outside of the classroom and make it accessible for all students. But I think there are some improvements that could be made, and as interactive as this is with a lot of videos and with a lot of places to pause and read more about what you've learned and about some frequently asked questions, I think it would be nicer to see maybe points for checking for understanding. Maybe students could take a poll and check with themselves if they got the skill. And maybe there's also places that they can interact with the actual skills or these websites themselves. That would be cool to see added into her lesson. This particular slide is definitely something I use within my English classes. I personally pause on this part and talk about it for quite a bit because this helps students know which academic sources are reliable and which ones they should use and which ones they should filter out. And overall, I think this lesson is great for all students, but also beneficial for ELLs because, again, this is a lesson that they can always access, they can come back to. So maybe as these ELL students are writing their papers or looking for sources and they want to make sure that they're doing it in the correct way or that the source they found is reliable, they can always come back to any of these lessons and pause it wherever they want to and come back to it as many times as they can. So regarding my final part of this final was a new resource that I found through Google, and I think that this website, English Media Lab Exercises for ESL or EFL Learners, is a great resource. So again, I found this through Google, and I think that this would be a very meaningful and purposeful resource for any student, but mainly ELL students. And some pros and cons. So a pro is that this is actually very closely covering, maybe more towards the bottom, covering the grammar concepts that I go over with my junior classes. So I think this is a great tool to provide for my future classes. But I think the con is just kind of the structure of it together, because I think that they could have made it a little bit more fun. So you got the different sections on the top here. So I've been clicking on grammar because this is probably the tab that I would be using in my classes. And I just think that it would be so much nicer if the, visual of this platform was kind of along the lines of like Gimkit or Kahoot, Quizlet even. But this seems a little bit more like simple and to the point. So I think that's the only con I had there. So if we click on one, we do go over active and passive voice. Oh, that's not really what I want. It'll bring you guys, or I guess my class, to a game, and this is just one example of going through passive voice. So I've already done this a few times. So it says,
choose the correct answer.
So I panicked to read the question, but you would click on the question and click on the right answer that shows the active voice, and it'll show you that you have gotten the right answer. So anyway, that is just one example of the games that are listed. I think some of them will be a little bit more appropriate for the high school level, but you'd be surprised. They love the games, and I think even that Dragon active voice game would really entice them. So again, I think that this will be helpful for, any of my current students, but also any future ELL students as well.